Plenty of things to say, the market is moving, things are happening, always here to keep you updated, and so let's jump into it together. And so, the big news of the day, Mateus Fernandes. Many questions over the last 24 hours because many of you asking me, it's true that he's done with Tottenham, it's true that he's no longer going to Man United. Last week it's true that he's done with Man United, it's true that he's done with the other club, Real Madrid and all the rest. Guys, I told you in a video, and I think this version is now almost everywhere in the media, but let me be clear on this. West Ham will sell Mateus Fernandes to the club, offering the best money.
So look, things progressing really well with Fernandes, and I've got to say, if he has said that he's open to a move to United, and we've sorted out personal terms, and we're talking to West Ham about a fee, realistically, how long does it take to get a fee done with West Ham? It could take weeks, it could take hours. They want 80-something million. United are clearly going to try and do add-ons. And look, you can hide behind add-ons all you like. If we get him for 60 million plus 20 million in add-ons and people want to say, what a great deal, it's 60 million, it's 80, unless he flops. So if it's 60 million plus add-ons, it's 80 million, because those will be achievable add-ons. And I don't, you know, I always look at the add-ons and go, we need to be paying them. We didn't pay the add-ons with Rasmus because he didn't achieve. We need to be paying these add-ons. So I think what we'll try and do and say is, it is 80 million, but can we do it in add-ons? And can we do it over the next 4 years in payments? And hopefully we can get that done quite quickly. In relation to Alex Scott, I did touch on a little bit there that Arsenal might pivot to Alex Scott if we get Mateus Fernandes, which means we're probably not in the world we want to be in where we sign Scott and Fernandes. I feel like if we get Fernandes, other clubs will go for Scott and we'll end up with Baleba because no one wants Baleba, which is just not the right way of doing it, is it? So I can see us getting Fernandes and then spending a long time negotiating with Brighton for Baleba because it's the last midfielder left that nobody wants. I'd like to say we'll go for Scott as well, if we're not going to go for Tchouaméni, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and we're not getting Anderson. Now, the latest on Scott is that Bournemouth really want to keep him. This is coming in from Ben Jacobs. They really want to keep him. He's obviously going to have a little bit of a holiday, having been away with England as a standby player. And then when he comes back, Bournemouth will look to get him down on a new deal. Ben Jacobs says there's significant interest from Premier League clubs. Numerous clubs are circling. Bournemouth still value him at £80 million, but are aware that he's only got 2 years left on his contract. So, I don't know. I mentioned Tyler Adams as a cheaper third midfielder. I mentioned Baleba as a player that we can negotiate round with Brighton for weeks because no one else wants him. I don't know. On this one, I just don't know. It's starting to feel like it'll be Fernandes or Scott, which is absolutely fine. But I think that the third midfielder is starting to worry me a little bit. But as I said to you last night, let's get Fernandes deal done first. But it doesn't feel like, from the updates that came out last night, that Scott and Fernandes are achievable for Man United, because it feels like if we get Fernandes, some of our competitors will go for Scott. And, you know, I was sort of thinking Scott, Fernandes and Ederson, is it the right balance as a midfield three? But if we don't get Fernandes, Scott and Ederson, and we only get Fernandes and Ederson, who's the third one going to be? Because that could make the balance even worse. So, but look, there is still plenty of time. Let's get the Fernandes deal done. I think there's some really positive updates on that in the last 24 hours. And Scott will take care of himself, won't he? And also, I'd still say keep an eye on Madrid. I still think Tchouaméni is part of the World Cup and he's not really going to look at his future for another month. And in a month, Real Madrid could be in a very different position midfield-wise. There is still Enzo Fernandez out there. There are still other options they can go for. And if they like Mateus Fernandes, they're clearly going to look at other midfielders as well. So look, Tchouaméni's not necessarily off the list. And if we got Ederson, Tchouaméni and Fernandes, that's a good balanced midfield, isn't it? And I know people are going to say it won't be that. It'll be Baleba and Fernandes and Ederson. Admittedly, I don't like the balance of that. But there is still plenty of time.
Just to give you the last news arrived on my phone. before I go to sleep 2 hours and I come back here with you to update you on everything, is about Elliot Anderson, the midfielder from Nottingham Forest. A direct meeting took place on Wednesday night, so a few hours ago while I'm recording this video. A meeting between Manchester City and Nottingham Forest. I told you last week, I think it was Friday or Saturday, the deal is in the final stages for Elliot Anderson to Manchester City, and now Manchester City convinced to get the deal done. Man City are going all in, it's about the final details, and then here we go, could happen soon. They still have to sort some details with Nottingham Forest, but new contacts, Man City, Nottingham Forest, for Elliot Anderson, now waiting on these details, and then Man City hope to close the story. Man City made clear that they don't want this deal to be too long. It's already been longer than they expected. They were considering Elliot Anderson as a deal to be wrapped up quite quickly. It didn't. So new round of talks, and now Man City feel the deal is getting really almost there. So this could be one of the stories of the week to follow for sure closely. Then talking about midfielders, get ready guys from this video to the next days, hours or whatever, for a few names again in midfield. I would say the midfield battle, because on Sandro Tonali, I keep receiving many questions from you asking me, Fabrizio, many people mentioning Arsenal. Fabrizio, many people mentioning Manchester City. What's going on with Tonali? Is he going to Tottenham as you said or not? I stand by my news. From last week, out of nowhere, exclusive news, Sandro Tonali, Tottenham. Full stop. So today I keep mentioning Tottenham and Tonali, Tonali and Tottenham. I remain on my position. Tottenham are working on the deal to sign Sandro Tonali. And that remains the case. Deal on Tottenham, Tonali. I'm not coming here mentioning Man City. I'm not coming here mentioning other clubs. Since I told you Tonali, Tottenham last week, the other clubs are no longer mentioned, by myself at least. So let's follow the situation, but the deal is on.
Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Early one this morning because I had a late one last night. But I will be back with you with a live show tonight at 8 o'clock, actually. I'm going to have the Switzerland-Qatar game on at 8 o'clock. I'll be live with you then. And I might do a live sort of around midday today if we get some stuff later in this morning. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Make sure you're subscribing to the video as well. Lots going on. I'll speak to you all in a bit.